when it comes down to that, the way that he went on that internet and like lied, I really feel some type of way about it because I don't respect that lie. I feel like he didn't have no integrity when he get on these interviews and he's talking and saying as though like he ran me out the gym and um he beat me up in sparring. He's not telling the guys on his truth. So it's like when you hear somebody lie like that, it's like, okay, if he would have just said, yo, I wanna fight you, I want your spot, I'm cool with that. Like I ain't tripping off that. But when you lie and make it seem like I'm not who I've been my whole life on camera, I don't respect that. So um I don't know. We'll see in the future. I don't know. I'll beat all these guys up, but that dude right there, I really kind of want to beat him up outside the ring.
You had that interim and situations so you could maybe go up to 135. Is that the fight that you want? Is that the fight that makes sense for your career next?
I mean, it- it's most definitely the fight that I want, and that's the fight that I'm trying to actively make.
Mhm.
So, as you know, he got stripped um, because he didn't want to pay the sanctioning fee. So, we sent him an offer. I gave him an offer that I'll pay the sanctioning fee, the 100,000 that he didn't want to pay for the last fight, but he gets reinstated with as a WBC champion at 135, but he has to fight me next. So
Mhm.
that's the offer. I'll take care of the fee, but he got to fight me next. Tell Shakur to take the offer. Take the offer. Look, we don't want to see Isaac Cruz, man. We want to see you in there with another elite fighter that's got the speed, the power, the ring generalship, and let's see how you work. You know what I mean? Let's do it. So that's my message to the fans. Keep getting on his head till we get in that ring, and I'm gonna do what it do after that.
They say the left hand, it drop mountains. They say the right hand, be slaying dragons.
All right, so before we go ahead and get today started here in Las Vegas, I wanted to just come out here and sound off on this because, Shakur Stevenson, great fighter. I've always regarded Shakur Stevenson very highly. Long before much of the boxing world and the boxing fans knew his name, I've never picked against him in any of his fights. So I'm not speaking from a place of hatred. I'm just speaking from a place of observation. I'm speaking from a place of just like noticing some things, right? Now, O'Shaquie Foster is a good fighter. O'Shaquie Foster is a guy that, I don't necessarily think got robbed against Robinson Conceição the first time they fought, contrary to popular belief. But nonetheless, he's a good fighter. And when you talk about the fighters in and around Shakur Stevenson's weight category, he's the kind of fighter I want to see Shakur Stevenson fight because, I've seen Shakur Stevenson deal with the volume fighters like William Zepeda, and I've seen Shakur Stevenson deal with like these athletic fighters like Teofimo Lopez. So I know I know Shakur Stevenson's skilled enough. I know he's smart enough to deal with those kind of fighters and look like the technically superior fighter. But what I want to see from Shakur Stevenson next, as a fight fan, is I want to see Shakur Stevenson, like O'Shaquie Foster just said in the beginning of this video. I want to see him in there with someone with the speed, the power, the ring generalship. I want to see Shakur Stevenson in there with another fighter who can keep things nice and long and professional and from the outside. I want to see Shakur Stevenson in a real chess match because Shakur Stevenson is propped up as this technically superior fighter. But when have we really seen Shakur Stevenson against another technically like elite fighter, like an O'Shaquie Foster? They got history. They sparred plenty, and I've been hearing O'Shaquie Foster call for this fight for years now. And every time he calls for this fight, Shakur Stevenson doesn't really have the same energy he has for O'Shaquie Foster that he has for, Conor Benn, for Ryan Garcia. When it came to those guys, it's their food. Like he'll say Conor Benn is food. He'll say Ryan Garcia just has a left hook. He'll say Ryan Garcia is overrated. But when it comes to Oshaki Foster, he'll be like, oh, well, I didn't like his integrity, and I'm making all this money, and this, that, and the third. And it's just like it's not the Shakur Stevenson that I'm accustomed to. So with that being said, heavy is the head that wears the crown, Shakur. You want to be number one, pound for pound. You want to be the face of boxing. You got to deal with everybody calling you out. And one of the guys that I think has proven that he deserves a fight with you is Oshaki Foster, based on the fact that, you know, he's been world champion. He just, the same thing that you did to Teofimo Lopez, he did to Stephen Fulton a couple months before that. So it's like you guys are both coming off of very similar performances, and I want to see if Shakur Stevenson, how he does against another technically elite fighter. Oshaki Foster is, in fact, the mandatory challenger. I know Shakur Stevenson has said that he doesn't care about that. You know, he doesn't care about the sanctioning bodies and all that stuff, and he dropped the belt. But Oshaki Foster has offered to pay the sanctioning fees in order to fight Shakur Stevenson. So he's removing that excuse from you, Shakur. You can't have your cake and eat it. You can't sit here and say, well, on one hand, I don't want to fight Keyshawn Davis because he's my brother, but then I don't want to fight Oshaki Foster because he didn't have no integrity. You know, my thing is this. If Oshaki Foster is lying and he didn't run you out the gym, then show us. That's where I'm at. Like, I don't think Oshaki Foster is an unbeatable fighter. I think Shakur can beat Oshaki Foster, but at the same time, it's like, I'm not one of these boxing fans like a lot of you guys out there in the world. I'm not like a lot of you fanboys that like to see fighters win fights in theory. That's not how fights are won. Fights are won in the ring. Fights are won, you know, on fight night. So I want to see Shakur Stevenson in there with another fighter who does some of the similar things that he does in terms of mentality, in terms of approach to the sport, in terms of skill set. And really, when I look for that kind of fighter in and around his weight, the guy that I see that is the most realistic option is Oshaki Foster. So my thing is, if you really are that guy, if you really are, you know, one of them fighters that can beat any style, you know, you don't need to have guys come forward and bring the fight to you. If you can really be patient and outthink a fighter like Oshaki Foster, to me, that adds another layer to your greatness as one of boxing's true elites. And also, I think Oshaki Foster deserves the opportunity to show what he can do against a big name, you know, and how he performs. And that's what comes with being one of the best fighters in the world. You know, Shakur Stevenson is now a top 3 pound-for-pound fighter. He's a 4-division champion at age 28. So he's the measuring stick for any and everybody around his weight. That's just the God's honest truth. But at the same time, that doesn't excuse him from trying to duck fights, and because that's what he's been doing with Oshaki Foster. Let's call a spade a spade. He hasn't really been trying to. He don't really want that work with Oshaki Foster for whatever reason. I don't know. It don't seem like he wanted, because he tries to put his brother Raymond Ford in front of him. You know, he tries to. You know, he like Shakur. You beat Teofimo Lopez. Congratulations. I picked you to win that fight. But Devin Haney, you want to put a catchphrase on Devin Haney, right? Which you were criticizing. You've been critical of other fighters. I've seen Shakur talk about other fighters putting catchphrases on other fighters. Now you're trying to do it to Devin, right? So you don't want to fight Devin at 147 pounds, where he's actually a champion. You don't want to fight your brother Keyshawn Davis because you guys are friends and it's deeper than boxing, all right? And now you don't want to fight Oshaki Foster because he has no integrity. So my thing is, like, man, you can't be calling yourself the face of boxing and the best fighter in the world and then ducking all these fights. Like, you got to fight one of these guys. So I don't care if it's Haney, I don't care if it's Shakur Foster, but it's time to run it. I want to see Shakur run it with another elite technical fighter. So Devin Haney, Shakur Foster, or his brother Keyshawn Davis. Any one of them three at some point in time will suffice. But for me, of those options, the most realistic is Oshaki Foster. If he didn't run you out the gym and he has no integrity and he's lying in his interviews, go ahead and fight him. Beat him up. Show us. I want to see.
Thank you for watching True School Sports.
Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports empire, the home of boxing. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers, guys, so help us keep being great. Help us keep pushing out that real boxing content for the fine folks all around the world. And make sure you jab, you hook, you Mike Tyson, you Mayweather that subscribe button. Pops, show them how do they got to hit the subscribe button. Pow!